the infamous WoW Cataclysm expansion, said to have started what was the downfall of World of Warcraft back in the day. But was the expansion really that terrible? Or are players just jumping onto the hate wagon for particular no reason at all? From my personal experiences, Cataclysm is one of my favorite expansions. I remember when I played it back in the day how much it improved many aspects of the game, for example making the game simpler, also known as casual friendly. There were some little things that I didn't enjoy, but none that were that game breaking. The only thing I disliked was the introduction of looking for raid and the content route. Everything else was fine. The fond memories of Cataclysm made me want to revisit this expansion more than any other expansion, as the Cataclysm was where I really knew how to play the game. So first off, I wanted to create a new character and get a fresh experience. One big part about Cataclysm was that it made the leveling in the old world a lot more linear by completely revamping almost all of the zones and changing the questing from walking all over the place to a more linear style. As I was leveling through the world, I always knew where to go, and the leveling was a breeze. A combination of questing and doing dungeons made you level quite fast, but the thing I kind of disliked was that you out-leveled a zone pretty fast compared to if you only did the quests and just ignored the dungeon finder. A problem I had was I couldn't really keep up with my herbalism and alchemy, because I was out-leveling the zones that had the herbs I needed, and I wanted to level as fast as I could, so staying in a zone picking up herbs and shit just didn't interest me. I rather would level up to max, get my epic flying, and then I would go out and level up the rest of my professions. But all in all, a very smooth experience. The combat in itself was great as well, as I didn't always run into mana problems. There were some occasions where I would need to drink, but not near as often as in Classic. The talent system was also something that got changed / simplified in Cataclysm before getting totally reworked in Mists of Pandaria. They made the talent tree a lot smaller, and you only got a point every second level. Level 21, level 23, 25, 27, you get the point. This was a okay change, but in all honesty, they could have made it a lot better, and all in all, it was a step down from where it was in Wrath of the Lich King. Something else I really liked was how the spells worked. You learned a new spell from the class trainer as you would in previous expansions, but the ranking system was gone. No more rank 1, 2 and 3 fireballs, and once you learned a new spell, the spell grew stronger with you leveling and obtaining gear. You didn't waste time traveling to these trainers every other level just to train higher ranks of your spell. This saves you a lot of gold and time and doesn't make the trainers totally obsolete, as you still need them to train spells, unlike in retail where they're mainly decorations of some sort. With the glyph system, you could empower your spells, but not by a lot. We're talking like 5% extra crit on your fireball, for example. I didn't get to play Wrath of the Lich King that much, but in Cataclysm, this system is just so dull and boring. It has a lot of potential, but from a development point of view, I just think the devs didn't have the resources to focus on the system, so they just instead made minor small changes to it. But one question remains though, why was this expansion so awfully disliked? Well, my opinion is that the expansion could have used another half year of development. Like the talent and glyph system, there just wasn't enough time to make them flashy enough, and people really weren't happy about this. It was just two systems being dumbed down and nothing more, and the introduction of LFR and the content route as well were the final nail in the coffin for many players. And some players would even say that the expansion just didn't feel finished at all, and something about the game getting too hard. Like the heroics, I remember well these heroics because if you didn't know how to CC and boss tactics, it was basically a wipe in most cases. More or less a mythic plus nowadays. But in my case, I enjoyed them a lot. And let's not forget about the hate wagon that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, where just so many players jumped on. Honestly, I think that's some of the biggest reasons people were mad, just to be mad at something. The massive drop in players just maybe had something to do with it, that people just lost interest in the game. Maybe life happened for them and they had to move on. I don't know, these are just my opinions, of course. So in conclusion, I have to say, I'm enjoying Cataclysm a lot, but I'm still in the early stages in the leveling process. When I reach max level 85, I will release another video about the endgame, talking about dungeons, gearing up and raiding. So I want to know if any of you are playing Cataclysm at the moment, and if yes, what are your early thoughts? If no, why not? Have you ever played Cataclysm before? I would love to hear your opinions and thoughts. See you in the next one.